Okay, dear students, let's continue. Now comes the fill the blank part. So let's now try to do this again together. It says you are given a set A with a set having 1 over n plus minus 1 the power of n for n an element of natural number. So you are asked to find the greatest lower bound and the largest element of A, if any. So let me show you how this is done again. So in order to find the greatest lower bound and the least upper bound of a given set, first you have to identify the type of the elements, the numbers within the collection, okay, within the set. So as you see, if you substitute 1 in place of n, you will obtain 0. If you substitute 2 in place of n, you will obtain 3 over 2. And put 3 in n minus 2 over 3. So as you are substituting natural numbers, you will obtain such kind of arrangement of numbers. These are basically obtained when n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from this you can understand that this is 1.5 and this is negative 0.67 something, 1.25 something like that. So from this the lower bound, that is to say the lower bound, the greatest lower bound is going to be the smallest of all this, and this is going to be minus 1, okay, minus 1. The reason is because as you see, this is minus 2 over 3, this is minus 2 over 3 minus 0.67, and when you go to this next one, negative 4 over 5 is going to come. And next from that, you see, as n goes to infinity, or as n goes to as n gets larger and larger, it gets closer to be what, 1. So the greatest lower bound for this is going to be minus 1. And the largest element of A, if n, it says, so in the case of this, the largest element is going to be 1.5, which is 3 over 2, the second one, right? So the least upper bound is 1.5. and the greatest lower bound is minus 1, so it's not written being said LUB, so you can say that it is 1.5. Now proceeding to the next one, you see you are having question number 17. It says function f of x 1 over x minus 1 and its composition function fog of x is x over 1 minus x. So you are asked to find what g is. So what you have to do here is you have to see, you see the way it has been written. This is 1 over x minus 1, whereas look, this is x over 1 minus x. So you need to have g of x to be 1 over x for this to come. Okay, so if you take g of x to be 1 over x and calculate fog of x, you will obtain fog of x being f of g of x, and your g of x is now 1 over x, so f of 1 over x is going to be a matter of putting 1 over x in what, student, in x of your f of x, so 1 over x minus 1, which actually is x over 1 minus x. So it's when g of x is 1 over x that you can obtain fog of x to be x over 1 minus x. So the answer is going to be 1 over x, okay, 1 over x. Question number 10 says you find the remainder when you divide this function by what, g. So clearly, student, this is talking about remainder term. So first you have to find the 0 of this x plus 2. Clearly the 0 of x plus 2 is minus 2, so you need to substitute this minus 2 here in place of x throughout. So this turns to be, using remainder theorem, minus 2 to the power of 5. As you see, minus 2 is substituted, minus 2 to the power of 5 minus 2 to the power of 3 minus 2 plus 5. And this turns to be minus 17, so the remainder is minus 17. So without applying long division method, in a simple way using this remainder theorem, we can obtain this value to be like this. Now proceeding to question number 10 and 19. 19 says find the inverse of the function which is given by f of x equals to x plus 1 over x minus 3. So you remember, students, in the case of finding the inverse of a function, you have to let first f of x to be y, as it has been stated here, and then you have to interchange x and y, interchange x and y above. So as you are interchanging x and y, in place of y have x, in place of x have y. As you see, throughout x I'm using y, and here in y I just used x. Then try to solve for y. For this, try to apply crisscross multiplication. Then 2y plus 1 times 1 comes 2y plus 1, and this x multiples y, it will be xy, and again this x multiples minus 3x. So let's solve for y from this. So solving for y from this, you can have y into 2 minus x minus 3x minus 1. So again, if you solve for y, you'll obtain this to be minus 3x minus 1 over 2 minus x. So here you can consider your inverse function to be the function minus 3x minus 1 over 2 minus x. So proceeding to the next one, here it says you are asked to find the equation of the parabola whose vertex at 0, 0 and focus at 0, 5. So, and also you are asked to find, in standard, to write the equation in standard form. So clearly this can be done the following way. If the vertex is at the origin and the focus is at 0, 5, clearly the parabola is opening up and it's having its axis, the y-axis, right? So if this is so, the equation is going to be y minus k is equal to 4p into x minus h. The reason why I'm having this is because the parabola is opening up. So if, the parabola is opening up because the focus is somehow, you see, upper compared to the vertex. So it will be like this, y minus k 4px minus h. So I'm using plus here because the focus is, you see, above than the vertex. And x is squared because the parabola is opening up. So the vertex hk 0, 0 is given here. So hk is known. And the focal length p can be determined by just finding the distance from 5 to 0. The focal length is the distance between the focus and the vertex, so p is now known. So the focal length is 5, so everything is now known. So h is 0, k is 0, p is 5. So finally you will obtain the equation of this parabola being y minus 0, 4 times 5x minus 0. What I did here is I just simply substituted hk 0, 0 and p5 here in my formula, and then finally I can obtain this to be y equals 20x squared. Therefore the parabola will have this equation, y equals 20x squared. Here, students, what you have to know is you first, whenever you want to solve such kind of question, please try to have a rough sketch, okay? Sketching the rough one enables you to know the type of the parabola. You may obtain the parabola opening up or down, or you may obtain a parabola opening to the right, to the left. So whenever you encounter such kind of question, you need to have a rough sketch first. Once you have the rough sketch, you can know now the type of the formula that you need to use. If the parabola is opening up, you have to use positive expression of x squared, the x squared expression. If the parabola is opening down, you need to use the negative of the expression I wrote here. But there are cases where the parabola might be opening to the right and to the left. In that case, it is y that has to be squared. If y needs to be squared, and if you take a positive value, you are having now a parabola opening to the right side. If the parabola opens to the left, your y is squared together with a negative sign must be used in front, okay? So in such a way, you can simply understand the concept.